Okay, we'll do the chanting right off. Enjoy, concentrate, be mindful. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato ArahatoSammaSambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Dudayambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dutayambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Dutayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Tatayambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Tatayambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Tatayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. So now get yourself in a comfortable position for meditation practice. Just remind you that you can look for more detailed instructions for the meditations. You can look on the class from the 2nd of January and also for mantra on the 16th of January. And they're quite detailed instruction in those classes. I posted them both within the last couple of weeks, or reposted. So now bring your mind to your body, starting from the bottom of the body and working your way up. So initially, the bottom part of your body, from your toes through to your midsection. Just release whatever tension you can. And now from your midsection up to your shoulders and down to your fingers. And from your neck and the rest of your head, the back, the sides, the front, your face, and the top of your head. And now scan your body just to see if there's any more residue or leftover tension that you can release. With your eyes gently closed, your lips gently touching as you breathe in and out of your nose, bring your focus now to your breathing, the feeling of your breathing as you breathe in and out, as you breathe into your lungs and out your nose. That's all you have to do right now. Focus on the most important physical thing that we do, and that is breathing. If thoughts arise or any mental activities, by replacing your mind back on the breath, just let them come and go naturally. And likewise, if your mind becomes a little bit dull or sleepy, wake it up a little bit by focusing more brightly on your breath. If you have some sort of attachments to sense pleasures arise, or even some sort of negative feelings, negative thoughts, just let them go by refocusing on your breath. Any mental agitation or distraction, dullness, just let it go. And if you're having any uncertainty or doubts, do likewise. Have confidence in yourself, have confidence in the method, and have confidence in your ability to implement the method, to practice the method. So now we will do it like this, in silence for a few minutes. Don't try too hard, don't try too little. So now you can feel very pleased with yourself for engaging in the practice, and fill yourself now with loving kindness, appreciation, respect, friendliness, non-harmfulness, non-violence. All of these virtuous states of mind that relate to loving kindness. Make yourself feel really, really nice, without attachment, of course. Feel yourself with so much loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones and friends. And also now includes strangers. And even those beings that you find very difficult and may even regard as enemies. May all these people be happy and free from suffering. Gradually radiate out further and further, now including all living beings around your immediate area, from the tiniest living being to the largest. And now throughout your state and county. And other states and counties throughout your whole country. And other countries throughout the whole world. And throughout the whole solar system. And other possible solar systems throughout the whole galaxy. Such a vast area. Such immeasurable loving kindness. And throughout the whole universe. Have your loving kindness, your infinite loving kindness pervade all of infinite space. And also be present here and now, and we will recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And so we are having questions and answers at present. And so I encourage you, if you have questions, to send them to me in Messenger or by email or text or by a telephone call or a voicemail if I don't pick up, if I'm busy. And so that way we will continue doing this as long as there are questions to be had. I think there are always questions, actually, but we will get on to, as soon as we finish these few classes with questions and answers, then we will go on to the new subject, as mentioned, of the 6 paramitas or 6 transcendental perfections. Okay. So there was one question that came through Messenger, but it was basically, I won't repeat the question, but it was basically related to what I thought about, if somebody, what was the word used, snaps at others, like maybe others are irritating you or even making you angry, and you snap back at them. Of course, if they're behaving bad, then they don't condone their behavior, but I think snapping back is never helpful. And the reason why we do this is because we have the habitual tendency to do this. And it's, like I said, it's never helpful and quite often harmful. So try your best to decrease And I think all of us can pay attention here, decrease this habitual tendency to react, be more proactive by looking after your mind. Okay, so I thought of a quote that I came up with years ago. And, a short article came from this, probably back in the early 2000s. And this was, the quote is basically, share your riches with the paupers, keep your poverty to yourself. And it's kind of a play on words a little bit. It sounds like, if you have lots of material wealth, then you should share that with people who don't. Of course, you should do that, but that's not the meaning. The meaning is related to your mind, to your attitude. And of course, if you keep your poverty to yourself, kind of means, don't complain about it, things like that on the outside. But inside, what I really mean, if you have a rich attitude, if your mind is filled with loving kindness, compassion, if you're reasonably wise, and if you're generous, share this with others and try your best to be a good influence on others. Don't just keep it to yourself. It's, even if you're sharing it with others in your meditation practice, this is great, but even through words and through our physical actions, we can do this as well, to share this rich attitude with others so that they may adopt it. I think we can be a good influence on others like this. Keep your poverty to yourself. It doesn't mean for you to, if you're having a bad attitude, if you're feeling a little bit down or even depressed or low self-esteem or angry, don't keep it to yourself and hang on to it. That's not what I mean there. Allow yourself, don't share it with others to begin with. In other words, don't attack others, but keep it to yourself so that you can let it go, so you can learn from it, learn that we have these habitual tendencies, and then make the resolve to really teach yourself and allow yourself even to let it go, to purify these negative emotions and to replace them with the virtuous ones. For instance, if you're experiencing some sort of hatred, then replace this over time. In the beginning, it's a little bit forced, but eventually it can become natural. Replace it with loving kindness and compassion. If you're acting upon self-centeredness and greed and miserliness, then start to be more generous. So initially towards yourself and then towards others as well. Even it starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought, and then you can put it into practice in your words and your actions as well. So I thought I'd start out a little bit cryptic with that quote. Okay, so share your riches with the paupers, keep your poverty to yourself. In other words, share your good attitude with others, but if you have a bad attitude, keep it to yourself so that you can let it go, so you can purify it. Be kind to yourself and others. This is a way to be kind to yourself and others. It's very important to be kind to yourself and others. Once again, it begins in the mind. It begins with an attitude and with a thought. The kindness starts in your own mind. If you want to be kind to yourself, you have to be kind to others. There's no other way. Even if the others are irritating, you can still be kind to them. There's an old saying, which don't take literally, but kill them with kindness. If somebody is really being nasty to you, just be kind back. Sometimes you can be very straight-faced. Kindness has many ways of outward expression. As long as you keep your mind kind, then it's okay. You can, put a serious face on. People tell me I have a really good, serious face. And where it look like I'm really, maybe retorting somebody, but actually, inside the mind, I'm not doing that at all. But sometimes if somebody's being nasty to somebody, then maybe you need to be serious with them. If they're being nasty to you, maybe you need to be serious, but you need to do it in a way that can bring benefit, not continue the problem. Okay, so the next one's purifying. We've spoke about this before, the 4 powers of purification, how to purify the negative karma. Okay, first of all, we have to have that non-clinging positive regret for engaging in such actions like snapping at others, like, you know, showing some negative attitude outwardly towards others. You first have to regret it. This isn't to make you feel bad. This is a positive, non-clinging regret. It's not that clinging regret that we could say you can call guilt. You know, we don't really have that that word even in Buddhism, guilt. That's more of a Western kind of idea, I think. But we have this. We can have this regret, which can lead to this concept of guilt. What's happening if you feel guilty? What's happening if you're having this clinging regret? You're living in the past. What about the present moment? You're not allowing yourself to live in the present moment. You know, so and you bring it into the future. And so future present moments are lost as well. You're hanging on to this, you know. So, but have this positive regret. This is kind of like starting now, you know, and then you make the resolve to not engage in such actions again. Or at least if these actions are really, really strong habits, maybe you can, you know, not be so hard on yourself and say, oh, okay, I'm going to do my utmost now from this moment to change these habits, to slowly release myself from the habit of doing this. So at very least, work your way to giving up the causes of this. Then we have what we call the object, which is a virtuous object in your mind, or you can, you know, open your eyes and do this in front of a Buddha statue or an image of your teachers or something like this, a being that you regard as virtuous. It's important to do that, because if we're only doing it to ourselves, you know, I think maybe we'd be a little bit lazy. Because actually since beginningless time, we have been with ourselves and doing things a certain way. So maybe we need now to aim towards a virtuous object, even if it's only a concept to begin with, right? So the Buddha, we know the Buddha to be an enlightened being. We know the Bodhisattvas, the high-level Bodhisattvas, are very close to being Buddhas. And of course, Sakyamuni Buddha or Gautama Buddha was also a Bodhisattva before he attained full enlightenment. So towards these beings, or like I said, towards your teachers, towards your gurus or acharyas or lamas in Tibetan tradition, you know, so you can think of these beings that you find virtuous, and then you aim this practice. You know, it's like almost your confession. It's almost like it's like a repentance, regretting negative actions, resolving not to do them again in front of a virtuous object. And then there's the action of actually doing this practice, engaging in the regret, the resolve towards the virtuous object. Okay, so they're the 4 powers of purification. To remember them in with one word each: regret, resolve, object, action. What else is there? So then apologies and forgiveness. It's really important. If we do something untoward, and it's towards, say, towards ourselves to begin with, we need to apologize to ourselves in our mind. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do the right thing there. And then we need to forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is really important. It's like putting down your mental baggage. It's like freeing your mind, not hanging on to these things that, like mentioned before, are in the past. Even if we brought them into the present moment, these habits come from the past, cause and effect. Okay, so apologies. If we have done something towards others, even if they're the ones that initiated, it's fine. We can be the adult and we can apologize. Apologize. This is kind of, it's almost like giving someone a jewel, isn't it? Up to them what they do with it. They can throw it away, or they can utilize this jewel, because we're giving this apology, and that allows them to have forgiveness. Initially for them in their own mind, and then towards yourself or towards other beings as well. So forgiveness is very, very important. Forgiveness is a part of generosity, actually. It's a part of the category of generosity that we call giving the protection from fear. We're helping others to give up any guilty or remorseful type feelings they may have. We're helping them, you know, And so then as we do this, we increase the habit of doing this ourselves. We give ourselves this protection from fears. The other two types of generosity, as mentioned before, by the way, and all other types of generosity can fit into these three, is the giving of material aid, especially to those that are in need of it. Then there is the giving of the protection from fear, which includes giving forgiveness. Then there is the giving of the Dharma, which is the Buddha's teachings, but also the truth in itself and the path leading to the truth. Okay, so the other notes that I've written myself, very important to put down your mental baggage and lighten your mind. Another quote that I came up with years ago. So the mental baggage, we're carrying so much with us, is so heavy, isn't it? You know, think about if you, let's say you've gone shopping or you've, whatever it is, and you're carrying things around on your shoulders, it becomes very heavy and your neck gets sore and even your legs get sore. But as soon as you put those bags that you're carrying down, it's like, oh, that's better. So it's the same in the mind. If we're carrying things around in our mind all the time, this is very weighty. But what happens is that we're so used to doing it, this feels like normal. Just like if we are carrying these bags around on our shoulders all the time, eventually it starts to feel normal. So do your best to put down the mental baggage. If you can, as soon as it arises, or at very least, as soon as you notice it, if you start to feel this negativity, this weight on your mind, just recognize it and go, okay, there's the old habit. Not today. Let it go. So we really need to be kind to ourselves in this way. And as we do this, then we're not going to act out. You remember, the mind is the chief. If our mind is upright and really calm, really relaxed, loving, kind, and so forth, then our speech and our physical actions will follow suit. The speech and the actions are kind of like the followers, really, aren't they? The mind is the chief leading the way. The mind becomes negative, the other things are negative. If the mind is positive, the others become positive. What else? Yeah, so don't snap at others. It's best not to. Occasionally, like I said, you can, with good intention, engage in some, serious conversation if things are really getting out of hand. And then, but maybe you can also be, like I said, be the adult and use skillful methods. Maybe you can agree with them in the beginning and then say, but, maybe that's not helpful, and that way you're using your skill, mental skill, as well as your skill of speech. I just noticed that quite often on the screen there, it looks like one of you is trying to get on to the audio. Try your best not to do that so it doesn't mess up the sound of the video, okay? I don't know if that's the case, but it seemed to be that way. The next one was related to Buddha statues and Bodhisattva statues. There was actually two questions that came to do with this. The first one relates to especially Maitreya Bodhisattva, Mahasattva. Maitreya means love and kindness. It comes from the Sanskrit word matre, which is pronounced in Pali as metta. Okay, Maitreya Bodhisattva is the living being on the way to enlightenment. Mahasattva is very close to enlightenment, high, great being, great Bodhisattva. He has said, as predicted, that he will be the next Buddha in this world, so the future Buddha. The images of this Bodhisattva to become a Buddha, there's been a lot of confusion, especially in Western countries over the years. In the Chinese tradition, I think this started in China initially, and then the traditions that came from the Chinese tradition, which is the Korean, the Japanese, Vietnamese, and some others as well, utilize an image of a very big Buddha with a big tummy, okay, known as the happy Buddha or the future Buddha, but actually is Bodhisattva, okay? An enlightened Bodhisattva to become a Buddha in the next life, if you could say. It is said that is at the moment is the head god and push it to heaven. Okay, just like Sakyamuni Buddha was before he became a Buddha. Okay, there's much more detail we could go into here, but I won't because of the time constraints. So it is said, I don't know the times, I'm going to guess around the 8th century, that there was a monk in China who his disciples eventually believed that he was actually Maitreya, Bodhisattva, in the human form in that life. Okay, or at very least, he had the spirit of love and kindness, the spirit of Maitreya Bodhisattva. Okay, and then he was said to have a very big body, and so they made images of him. That is one way to look at it. Okay, then you have to look at the symbology or the iconography of this statue or these images. What does it really stand for? That stomach should be infinite like the universe, because it represents universal and immeasurable love and kindness. You think about that image, always smiling, even though he's carrying that weight around with him, but unaffected by it. So in other words, has put down, just as I mentioned before, there is a method to my madness in the order I'm teaching today, putting down your mental baggage. So that's kind of what that statue stands for, in a sense. Quite often the statue he has with him a sack or a bag with an opening at the top and an opening at the bottom, which means don't hang on to anything. Practice non-attachment. And you see the standing one of these statues pushing up the sky. Let everything go. Don't let anything weigh you down. There is also a famous statue of Maitreya Bodhisattva that has a very large statue that has 100 children climbing all over him. But he's still happy, no problem. Still a huge smile, has the weight, which once again represents love and kindness, and has all of those kids. Imagine us if we had 100 kids climbing all over us. We'd get really irritated, I imagine, especially if they were behaving badly. So I think that the symbology here is really important to understand. And also the possible origins of where this come about. There was a guy in America, and he wasn't being nasty, speaking against Buddhism or whatever. He was trying to be a bit funny. He said, well, look, if Buddha's so good, why is he so fat? He must eat too much. And I said to him, that's actually not an image of the Buddha. The Buddha Sakyamuni is very fit and very slim. Only it just ate enough, okay? But, it depends on the culture. And if you look back into this culture and what I've just explained to you, you can see this helps the people who are confronted with this image. Okay, there are people, though, I must say, that don't understand it and apparently rub the tummy for good luck. Of course, that you have to create your own good luck. You can't just rub a statue's tummy. That's maybe you call that superstition or something. Or I've noticed that some temples I've visited that have this image at the front of the temple, which basically means, you could say means leave your troubles at the door, and they put money on the tummy. Maybe they think that this is going to do something good or something. But actually, we have to create all of our own blessings, all of our good conditions ourselves. That fits within the law of karma, doesn't it? What else can I say about that? I think probably that's about it, really. If people get a lot of joy from looking at this statue and get the meaning, then it's very, very helpful, okay? I think a lot of people, even if they don't understand the meaning, get a lot of joy from this. And that's still very, very helpful. It's better than having a picture of a devil or something there, I think, even though maybe a picture of a devil is not bad if you understand the meaning behind it. Maybe it represents anger. So every time you look at that, you go, oh, can't do that. Shouldn't do that. Purify that. I'm half joking around, but only half. The next one is related to other images of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And I've alluded to my answer there with the answer on Maitreya Bodhisattva. There are meanings to them. For instance, if the certain mudras, certain positions the Buddha's body is in, or the Bodhisattva's body is in, they have meaning. Maybe we can pick this up next week, because I just noticed we've got 1 minute and 21 seconds and counting down to go. And for instance, there is a Bodhisattva named Manjushri, okay, and he's known as the Bodhisattva of great wisdom. Okay, so Maitreya, Bodhisattva of universal love and kindness. Then you have Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of great compassion. You have Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, the great Bodhisattva of practice, especially in the 6 paramitas, and so on. Okay, many, many more. But if I can just mention briefly, Manjushri carries a sword with a flame on the end, because the sword cuts through things. In other words, wisdom cuts through ignorance, okay? Especially if it's heated at the end. And then, of course, has a lotus flower with the perfection of wisdom scriptures on top. So this is how you do, this is how you get this wisdom. So that's all for today. Enjoy yourself. Stay very, very safe. Stay calm. Stay positive. Practice well. Be happy. If you're not happy, contemplate. Can change it. Be kind to yourself.